So I was wondering if any of you people have heard about this thing called a good hair day. And I asked that question because, you know, I grew up with the blessing of having an exceptional stylist right next to me, my mother, but very much like the preacher's kid who always gets in trouble, my normal for the past couple of decades has been to be the master of bad hair days, and I make it my accomplishment to not only mess up my own hair, but I also tend to mess up the hair of people who come to receive body work from me. But last night something happened that quite seriously left me upon waking very thankful for every hair that I have, and though I cannot guarantee I won't continue to be a disheveled hair failure from this day forward, I would like to share with you what happened.
Somewhere overnight, I fell into a deep sleep and had a dream that I was standing with my back turned towards a mirror as if I were checking my hair after styling it. And as I looked upon the back of my head, I noticed that big patches of hair weren't there. And I said, "What is that?" And I also started wondering, like, how in the world am I gonna go and like cover this up, or how am I gonna start like facing people? And the other thing is, I also looked at the shape of my head and saw things that I hadn't noticed before. And then something else happened that I did not expect. I started feeling other areas of my body, and I came to the realization that something was not right. And what that something was an awareness that even though I was in my body as an observer, I also realized that there was a process of detachment taking place. In other words, I realized that I was in the process of dying. And I say that because I was able to feel for that time the way that it would feel, like the coldness of my brain inside my head, and I felt the separation of my lungs, the drying up, so to speak, the distance, the removal of those tissues from its vital source. And when I realized the process that was taking place, I did have a moment of, I don't know if it was extreme as panic, but this feeling of like, wait a minute, this is not my life plan. I'm planning to be here a very long time, and I feel like I'm just getting started. And then there was a further awareness of what it would be when my soul was no longer in the body at all. And let's see. I remembered that this was a temporal landscape, so to speak, and I recalled that I would be able to come back to this earth plane in a different body, and so I had some comfort by that in this dream. However, there was this extreme discontent that felt like, but I'm not ready yet. I'm just getting started. And I especially felt kind of disgusted that if I have to be reborn into another body and go through all the shit that I've had to go through for the first couple of decades of this life, I just thought to myself, there's no way I want to start over from the beginning at this point. I don't want to stop this process that has evolved so well. I just want to go forward from here and really use this body to create something great for me in this lifetime. And for me, great simply means just becoming the fullest, most evolved expression of myself that I can become, that is possible to become in one lifetime.
So naturally, upon waking, I felt very thankful that that was just a crazy dream, and it actually stirred me into quite a bit of contemplation today about the nature of death, and also remembering a time in my life last year where I would say that I went through a process of dying, so to speak, of the emotional and mental bodies. And also I've started to reflect on all of the loved ones that have passed on in the past year, and people who are struggling with maybe a terminal illness at this time, or who have recently passed from terminal illness, and also people who just aren't sure if they want to stay.
And the nature of this contemplation prompted me to recall another dream that I had probably 25 or 30 years ago. I know it's hard to believe since I'm going to only be 34 this week, but 25 or 30 years ago, I went into a lucid dream state where I had a dream of a old family client friend named Wilma Offit. So as some of you may know, when I was a teenager, I used to work at my mother's salon. Yes, I didn't mess up hair in those days. I was a receptionist, and we had a family client friend named Wilma Offit. And at some point along the way, she passed on. And in real life waking state after she passed, I was still a teenager, and one night I slipped into this dream where I dreamt that I was working at the salon, and I went to the back room where we used to have a pop machine, and I was surprised because when I got to the back room, Wilma was there. It's just standing there hanging out, and I said, "Wilma, what are you doing here?" And I was so curious and stunned because I knew that she had died, but I didn't know if she knew that she had died. And I really didn't want to hurt her feelings by telling her that she was dead, but I was getting very curious because I was so caught off guard by this experience that my curiosity got the best of me. So finally I had to ask. I said, "Wilma, so tell me, what is it like to be dead?" I said, I've never been dead, so I don't know what it's like. Can you tell me? And she said something to me after that still to this day gives me goosebumps. It is so profoundly beautiful. And what she said was, she said, "Oh, Alexis, death is a place like life, but in death, you're loved unconditionally."
So, in the aftermath of this dream last night and reflection on Wilma's wisdom, I find myself wondering, since we are soul incarnate, doesn't that guide us to realizing that as it is in heaven, so it should be upon the earth? And having reflected on all of the people in my life that have been dear to me, that are dear to me, and for those who have passed, or maybe some of those who will pass in the coming year, I wonder how much of my own life I have wasted in not allowing myself to be open to the presence of loving them attentively. And furthermore, I find myself wondering why does it take us to the brink of death to wake up and put an end to the craziness of creating qualifiers and divisive mechanisms and measuring sticks about whether we ourselves are worthy of love or whether someone else that we know is worthy of love and compassion. And how much longer as a species does it take for us to start dissolving those walls, recognizing that we can love in this now unconditionally, and we don't have to die to get there.
And to acknowledge that, thank God, somewhere along the way, I woke up from my own bad dream and decided to schedule my coming out party. And that means that I have accepted and embraced that I am a little bit gypsy. I am unconventional, and I have really bad hair. And I have arrived at a place of love and acceptance for all that I am and all that my soul came here to do.